Padapillo, written by Valerie James Abbott. I thought I knew everything about my little sister Bridget. After all, she's little. I knew her favorite song. I knew her best friend's name. I even knew how much she hated broccoli. But there were things I didn't know about her, like why she did weird things. She never answered the door when the doorbell rang. She didn't notice when a phone would ring. And she always made me repeat myself. That was annoying. Sometimes she just ignored me. That made me mad. But then there was the strangest thing of all. One day, Bridget and I were playing on our favorite tree. "Look," she said, "a Padapillo." I looked around, but I didn't see anything. "What are you talking about?" I asked. "What is a Padapillo?" She pointed to a branch on the tree. I still didn't see the Padapillo. Bridget moved closer. She pointed at a chubby green creature the size of her finger. "Padapillo," she said again. I rolled my eyes. That is not a Padapillo. Eventually, my parents caught on to her weird behavior and silly words. I don't know when they noticed, but once they did, they wouldn't stop talking about it. Suddenly, Dad was on the phone all the time. Mom was always on the computer. They started talking to people about the same things I had seen. "What do you think it could be?" asked Grandma. "We're not sure," said Dad. One day, my parents took my sister to see a special doctor. It wasn't our regular doctor. It was a new one. No kids in the waiting room either, mostly grown-ups and grandparents. "Dad?" I said. "Yes, honey," Dad replied. "Are these people sick?" I asked. "No, honey," Dad answered. "Is Bridget sick?" I asked. "No, honey, I don't think she's sick." "Then what are we doing here?" I asked. Just then, a nurse called us into the doctor's office. Mom held Bridget's hand. She could never follow directions anyway. The doctor asked my parents a lot of questions. Too many questions. He looked into my sister's ears. "You don't have ladybugs in there, do you?" the doctor joked. "Ladybugs? I think I might know what's going on," he said. "I'd like you to meet Dr. Anna. She is an audiologist." "What's that?" I asked. "An audiologist is someone who tests hearing and who helps people who may not hear well," the doctor told us. Dr. Anna asked Bridget if she would like to play a game. This game wasn't like the fun kind we have at home or at school. It was a listening game. Bridget wanted to play. It looked pretty boring to me. Bridget sat on Mom's lap in a little metal room with a window and toys inside. I watched as Dr. Anna placed long tubes into Bridget's ears. "Hey, are you hurting her?" I asked. "No, these are soft rubber tubes. They don't hurt. They are like headphones," Dr. Anna explained. Dr. Anna came out and closed the door to the little metal room. She sat in a chair near the window and waved. She spoke to Bridget through a microphone. "Listen for the beep," she said. I slumped back in my chair. "This is going to take forever," I grumbled. When the game was over, Dr. Anna sat down with me and my parents. The inside of Bridget's ears don't work like yours and mine. The test shows that she needs something to help make sounds louder and clearer, to help her hear better. Bridget needs hearing aids. "What?" I shouted. "What are you talking about? She doesn't need hearing aids. My sister can hear just fine." My dad wrapped his arm around me. Mom looked sad. "No, she doesn't hear like you and me," Dr. Anna said. "Bridget can hear some things, but she can't hear other important sounds. I know it might be hard to believe, but it's true." Then she showed us a hearing aid and explained each of the different parts. The microphone picks up sound. Inside, the amplifier makes the sound louder. The speaker sends the louder sound into the ear canal through a small tube and an ear mold which fit inside Bridget's ear. The battery provides power to the hearing aid. Next, Dr. Anna squirted blue goo into my sister's ears and said this blue stuff will harden into the shape of Bridget's ear canal, so her hearing aid molds will fit perfectly. Bridget closed her eyes and made a funny face. She said the goo felt squishy. What if that gooey stuff gets stuck in there? I said. It won't, Dr. Anna said. When the blue goo hardened, Dr. Anna gently pulled the molds out of her ears. It looked like the frosting on a cupcake. Bridget, did that hurt? I asked. She shook her head back and forth. I wondered if she understood what I said. Dr. Anna kneeled close to my sister and smiled. Bridget, hearing aids can be any color in the rainbow. Which color would you like? Bridget thought about it and pointed to her dress. Pink it will be, Dr. Anna said. I will order them today. The ride home from the doctor's office took forever. My sister fell asleep. I was so mad. Why hadn't she told me she couldn't hear me? I knew the listening game must be wrong. I knew I had to test her myself as soon as we got home. Bridget, come play with me, I said, walking her into my room. Can you make a block tower? Here, use these. Bridget ignored me. Here, blocks, make a tower, I said, pointing to the bucket of blocks. What? Bridget asked. Ugh, let me show you, I said, flipping the bucket upside down. She was so annoying. 1 block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks. Bridget nodded and started her own block tower. I slowly moved towards my toy chest. I had to find something to prove Dr. Anna and her test were wrong. I had to prove that my sister could hear me just fine and that she was just plain weird. Aha, I whispered. I turned around. I stood behind my sister. And then, ring-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Bridget didn't move. She didn't look up. She didn't turn around. She didn't stop at all. She just kept building her block tower. A few weeks later, Bridget's hearing aids were ready. We all went back to see Dr. Anna, the audiologist. Bridget wiggled in the chair. Dr. Anna put the new pink hearing aids in and around her ears. They fit perfectly. These are so pretty. How do they feel? Dr. Anna asked. My sister's eyes grew big and wide. I hear you, she said. I hear you. We all laughed. Mom cried a little bit. Dr. Anna made some adjustments to the hearing aids. Then she said we could go home. Bridget was very excited. She ran down the hall and straight out the door. She wanted to show everyone her new hearing aids. But then Bridget stopped. She looked around. She grabbed Dad's leg. What is that? Bridget asked. She covered her ears. What is what? We asked. The noise. Stop the noise, Bridget began to cry. She grabbed at her ears and started to pull her hearing aids out. I looked around at all the moving cars and trucks and people. I didn't hear anything strange. I just heard everyday things. It's all right, Mom said. These sounds are new to you. Don't be afraid. She smiled and picked up my little sister. We headed back to Dr. Anna's office. I thought I might see you back here, Dr. Anna said. Was it loud outside? Bridget nodded her head. She freaked out, I said. Bridget wiped tears from her eyes. Dr. Anna made a few more adjustments to the hearing aids. You are so brave. Keep wearing these every day. It will get easier. I'll see you again very soon. The next day at school, I walked my sister down the hall to her classroom. She squeezed my hand, so I squeezed it back. I felt a tickle in my stomach as we turned the corner. I wondered if anyone would notice her ears. What would her friends say? Wow, what are those? Wyatt asked, pointing his finger. Hearing aids, Bridget replied. I can hear better now. Let me see, let me see. Her friends and teacher gathered around, smiling. I love them, Olivia announced. They are pink and beautiful. My sister let go of my hand and smiled at me. I smiled too. Things are a little different now. My sister wears her hearing aids every day. She also works with special helpers called therapists. Sometimes they ask me to help them. Bridget doesn't annoy me as much anymore. Actually, she's kind of funny. She won't stop talking and trying new words. She talks to her neighbors when they ring the bell. She runs to answer the phone. She still says silly things sometimes, and that's okay. But you'll never guess the big new word she said yesterday. Ooh, butterfly.
You are listening to Confetti Park, a podcast brought to you by ConfettiPark.com.